President Eileen Ely for the State of the College Address.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me. It's nice to see so many people here this afternoon. Before I begin, I would like to recognize several of my trustees that said they would be here. Linda Cowan is here. And I believe Tom Campbell said he was coming as of last night. Tom, are you here yet? I knew he had an appointment this morning, so he most probably will be coming in a little late. The State of the College presents an opportunity for all of us to reflect on the significant events and achievements that happened this past school year and remind us of all the collective effort that went into each and every one of these initiatives and events this past year, and that those events really do make Green River a great institution. This is my third year as president of Green River, and I'm still very glad to be here. I have to say it's an honor and a privilege to serve as president of this great institution. As many of you know, our faculty have expressed concerns about the direction that I'm taking the college. And I have to say that speaking up takes courage and conviction. And it should always be encouraged, not only by faculty, but by everyone. Your voice is very important to me. I'm committed to listening to concerns, considering feedback, and contemplating new ideas and perspectives with all of you. I encourage you all to do the same. Tomorrow, Vice President of Instruction, Dr. Derek Brandis, and I are meeting with the division chairs to discuss faculty issues and concerns, and to identify next steps in working together positively, collaboratively, and respectfully. Green River is in a state of transition. The college's environment, economy, and community are changing around us, most probably faster than many of us would like to admit. Good afternoon, Tom.
Sorry.
No problem, I knew you were coming. As an institution, we are under tremendous pressure from external influences, including federal mandates. We've seen cuts in TRIO, and we still do not know all the effects of the sequestration. We're also seeing effects at the state level with budget constraints and increased legislative accountability to include Student Achievement Initiative, to include performance-based funding, additional eyes looking at what we are doing to improve student success. They're looking very carefully at the Student Achievement Initiative and how many students are completing. And then locally, we have our own pressures internally. We have the CTC Link program coming down the pike, and that's going to be changes for all of us. To meet these challenges head-on, to move forward and to continue to achieve success, the college must recognize areas of concern. We must identify challenges, and we must take the steps necessary to make it happen. This year, Green River has taken many steps forward to respond to the forces of external change and internal change. A year ago, the college began the process of developing a strategic plan for the next 7 years. The 2013-2020 strategic plan was completed in February and was approved by the Board of Trustees in March. This strategic plan provides a roadmap to enhance and expand the college's programs and services. It will guide us. The strategic plan was developed through an inclusive process engaging faculty, staff, students, trustees, and community members. Implementation of this plan will be similarly inclusive. Success will require input and action from the entire Green River community. In order to realize Green River's strategic vision for 2020, we need to determine the priorities. We need to address the strategic issues. We need to identify potential gaps and overlap in order to implement the changes needed to stay current. This will be an ongoing commitment that will require all of us to focus on our efforts in fulfilling the mission and the vision of the college. We have already begun the process for identifying those areas and will be seeking input and involvement across divisions and departments. With our strategic plan in place, we can begin to make the changes necessary to achieve our goals. To grow as an institution, we must focus on enrollment, retention, and management. Total enrollment for Green River has grown more than 9% the last 3 years. However, we experienced a dip in enrollments since 2011. Currently, the college is experiencing a 4% decrease in overall full-time equivalent students. We've also experienced a decrease in almost 8% in annual FTEs in state and worker retraining funding categories, which compared to last year. The last thing we want to do is to be chasing FTEs. The college is not alone in decreasing enrollments. Across Washington State, average enrollment in the community and technical college system experienced a 4% decline this academic year, with some institutions seeing enrollment declines as much as 11%. Thank goodness we're not one of those institutions. Correcting the lower enrollment trend and making the needed changes so that Green River can stay ahead now and in the future is one of our highest priorities. We've established a strategic enrollment and management committee that meets regularly to identify the areas of concern and to look for solutions to maximize enrollments. Areas we are focusing on include targeted outreach, expanded marketing and advertising, streamlining efficiencies, and developing a strategic enrollment management plan. Green River is strong and stable, but we continue to be challenged by the state of the economy and declining state funding. The college has remained resilient and fared better than many of our counterparts, due largely to good management practices, fiscal efficiencies, and the dedication and cooperation of every Green River employee every day. Your commitment to Green River is commendable, and I'm grateful for your attitude of success in the face of budget constraints and doing more with less. I wish I could comment today on the state budget, but the legislature is still working out the details. I hope they don't go into another session. When I learn more about the news of the budget, that news will be immediately shared with the campus. We're trying to conclude our budget planning process, and yet we're in a state of not going anywhere because we don't know what the legislative budget will be. Thank goodness the governor's budget, the Senate budget, and the House budget has always been this year's supportive of higher education. The college went through the accreditation process this year, completing an on-campus evaluation in April. Green River is on an accelerated cycle for accreditation, which means that we had to accomplish 7 years of work in 3 years since 2010. That's a remarkable accomplishment. The campus evaluation was thorough, and the college was commended for the dedication to student success and the passion for teaching and learning. But our work is not done. Recommendations as a result of the evaluation identified areas that need to be addressed, including aligning our mission statement with our core themes, clarifying our system of governance, updating some of our policies, and implementing a comprehensive system of addressing student success and campus-wide learning outcomes. We are committed to facing these recommendations and making the needed improvements in these areas. Expect to see changes this next year, not only because the accreditation agency wants to see changes, not only because the trustees and I want to see changes, but also because it's the right thing to do. From a capital perspective, the college has been blessed with significant state and student support in improving and replacing our aging college facilities over the last 10 years. The renovation of the Science, Math, and Technology building, now named Cedar Hall, will be finished and ready to go by fall. And I know people are already working on that. Camilla, I can see you smiling back there with the technology. New projects that are scheduled to begin this year are the new Student Life building and the Trades and Industry replacement project that are planned to break ground this summer. The future of the Trades building is still in the hands of the legislature, but we hope that we can receive positive news soon. Additionally, the construction to improve 320th, the street right out in front of the college here, will begin June 17th. So that project is a direct project linked to the trades facility. So please plan accordingly when you're coming to work. Know there's going to be a little construction out there. These new projects will make a significant impact on the college and the Lee Hill community and will be exciting to watch in the next few years. As the growth in technology has increased, so has the demand for services. This year we've made many improvements in technology on campus. We launched a new Green River website in July 2012. This project replaced the old version with a redesign that includes updated, visually appealing looks, good, better organization of information, and user-friendly site navigation. To meet the needs of our students, faculty, and staff, the college has increased the capacity of our wireless networking across all campuses. Currently, employee email is being migrated to a new and enhanced system, which will increase mailbox capacity from 100 to 200 megabytes to 25 gigabytes each of you. Just what you wanted to hear. More capacity for more email. I know it, I feel it. This is important though, and it's easier for us to communicate and manage the growing technology needs with this increased capacity. Over this past year, the college has invested more than $1 million to enable technology innovation. Those funds were used to purchase and replace more than 745 student and employer computers and another 72 printers. This marks the first time that the college, rather than each individual department, has funded the replacement of employee office computers. Green River is very involved in the statewide project within the State Board for State Technical and Community Colleges. And that project is CTC Link. I know that many of you have been very involved in the front end of this, providing your expertise and input. Thank you very much. But this implementation and complex project is estimated to take 5 or 6 years. And it will be conducted in 4 phases to fully implement the software and the new business processes across all college districts and the state board. Green River will be in the first implementation phase, which will start May 2014, and it will be completed in May 2015. Green River tried very hard to be a pilot institution. We put in our application process and our project, and we did it in a timely fashion, and the quality of that project was outstanding. Unfortunately, Tacoma and Spokane were selected as the pilot institutions. But because Green River showed the initiative to move forward, to take that first step, we were selected to be in the first implementation stage. So again, very proud of that. I cannot stress enough that this project will be a major undertaking, and we need to be prepared for that change. Besides upgrading the existing 35-year-old legacy software with modern technology, we will also redesign and align our current business processes with streamlined, standardized practices. No more, when you look across the state system, everybody is using some type of different software system. They're using different add-on software packages, and they're trying to compare apples to apples, and it's not happening. This new software package will really be able to have, we'll be able to do that. We'll be able to compare apples to apples instead of apples to oranges to grapes. So again, I'm feeling very positive too about that. This means that all of Washington community colleges will be doing the same work the same way. For students, this means easier enrollment and more efficient instructional and student services. For employees, what does this mean? It means streamlined human resources and payroll services. Now, if you were to ask me today what that means in detail, I couldn't tell you, but I do know that they're working on that, and the pilot institutions will have many of the answers as we move forward. We realize that change is difficult, but rest assured, for more information and training will be provided as we progress forward and we will be walking beside you as this change takes place. So rest assured, you have lots of support from everyone at the state level and then also from administration. Green River is definitely moving forward. One of the most significant accomplishments in recent college history is the approval of a new program for a Bachelor of Applied Science degree in Information Technology. This will have a focus on network administration and security. This is a historical milestone for Green River, and it would not have happened without the collaborative involvement and support from a broad group of college faculty and staff who worked together to make this happen in such an amazing, timely fashion. From one summer last year that it was started to this point in May when it was approved. Less than a year. Amazing work. This BAS degree in IT is just the beginning. We are working to identify and develop additional bachelor programs in aviation, forestry management, health sciences, businesses, and more. Community colleges play a part in the economic growth of the region, and Green River recognizes the importance of preparing for the workforce challenges of local industry. We all have the responsibility to meet the training needs of our diverse and dynamic workforce. And Green River is accomplishing this by collaboratively developing programs with industry partners that have common goals. We have a reputation for doing this very well, and the program development and improvement is a constant process that calls upon us to meet the constantly changing community needs. At the WAC meetings, presidents have been talking for the last 2 years about disruptive innovation, and industry and businesses are feeling that same effect, and we are here to help them through that process. Even as I speak, continuing in community education is providing training for or working with more than 30 companies to develop comprehensive training plans that meet employer needs. All of our programs provide critical skills that help build and sustain a strong workforce in this region and enhance the regional economy. It is your outstanding effort that keeps us all at the forefront of being a responsive institution and respected for its quality education. Green River was accepted as an Achieving the Dream institution on March 22nd of this year. Achieving the Dream is a national reform network dedicated to community college student success and completion. And we heard this over and over again in our strategic planning process. Student success, over and over again. Focused primarily on low-income students and students of color, completing their education and obtaining a market-valued credential. This is a major accomplishment for our college, and it aligns us with nearly 200 other colleges nationwide, to include 16 colleges from Washington State alone, who have forged a common commitment to a shared agenda for student success. I can't think of anything that's more important than student success. On January 1st, Green River Community College became 100% tobacco-free on all campuses. Since implementing this change, our campuses are cleaner and more inviting, and our students, faculty, and staff can breathe easier knowing that they can work and they can study in a healthier environment. We are fortunate to have a beautiful campus here on Lee Hill. In the last year, we've seen a huge improvement in the quality of our grounds and the general appearance of our campus. I'd like to take a moment and recognize the great work that our facilities team and everything that they do on a daily basis to keep Green River a beautiful place to work and to go to school. Green River is committed to veterans. I'm committed to veterans and giving them the support that they need as they pursue their goals and dreams academically, with job training and obtaining meaningful employment. We have more vets coming back every day. On May 10th, Green River hosted its first annual Be the Connect Veterans Conference in Lindblom Center. This important event brought more than 300 participants together, including educators and students, city and state agencies, healthcare agencies and organizations, veterans affairs groups, and community partners to honor and support our veterans. It was a very good day. It was a good day for vets. On June 8th, we will host the first annual South King County Veterans Family Resource Fair and Stand Down. This unique event will provide veterans the opportunity to work with experts from over 40 participating agencies to plan out new life skills, learn more about and apply for VA compensations and pensions, obtain counseling resources, and receive aid in reaching their goals. Veterans will also receive a variety of medical screenings and referrals to include post-traumatic stress disorder and substance abuse resources. More than 100 volunteers have already stepped forward to help out with this day. In September, the GI Jobs magazine named Green River to its list of military-friendly schools, which places this institution among the top 15% of colleges, universities, and trade schools in the nation that do the most to ensure the success of service members, veterans, and their spouses. The Green River College Foundation is working very hard to remove the financial barriers for all students, but especially veterans at this point when they return to school. The Veterans Educational Transition Fund, the VET Fund is what we call it, was created in 2011 out of the need to help student veterans make ends meet and to keep them in school. In less than 2 years, the foundation has raised nearly $70,000 for the VET Fund. Remarkable, George and his team. This is a remarkable accomplishment which we all should be very proud of. I know many people participated in that fundraising event. In April, Green River was selected by the Department of Homeland Security to join 6 other colleges and universities nationwide to develop and pilot emergency preparedness and resilience planning program. Green River is the only college representing Washington State in the Northwest, and they are the only community college chosen nationally. Just a highlight. We are committed to making Green River Community College a rewarding place to work, teach, and most of all, learn. That commitment is reflected in the talent that is represented on our campuses. We need to make it a habit of acknowledging the good work that faculty and staff are doing on a daily basis. In 2013, the Distinguished Faculty Awards are one way we can recognize the best of the best. If you have not voted yet, the voting is still open until 5 p.m. today. Full-time faculty, adjunct faculty, and administration are eligible to vote, and the top 3 finalists will be recognized at Green River's commencement ceremony on Friday, June 14th. Finally, I'm excited to share with you our plans for some upcoming special events. On September 21st, we are putting on our first annual Gator Fest. It's going to be a family-friendly event filled with festivities and activities, including the dedication of New Cedar Hall, a free pancake breakfast, 2 entertainment stages, a Gator Gate 5K fun run, vendors, food, and the day is going to be full of activities. So please plan on coming. I know there's information on the table outside, so please pick up the information if you're interested. If you're interested in volunteering and helping put this event on, please contact Vicki Sheehan and to volunteer. I'm also pleased to announce that in less than 2 years now, Green River will celebrate its 50th anniversary. The first full year of Green River's existence was in 1965 to 66. This is a significant milestone for the college, and we have already begun to make preparations for this momentous occasion. There will be much more to come on the 50th anniversary, but again, if you're interested in volunteering, please contact Vicki and stay tuned, more to come on that one. In conclusion, I want to thank you all for your continued support of and involvement in Green River Community College. Green River, again, would not be recognized as a quality institution Without all the talent that is represented here in this room and throughout the college for those individuals that could not attend today, on all of our campuses. I cannot say enough that we cannot be complacent. We cannot be divided. We need to join together to work collaboratively and respectfully to address our changing environment and to meet our current and future external and internal needs. I think the pressures are going to continue. We're going to feel the continued pressure from external pressures. To continue to grow, we must listen and we must respond to the needs of our communities, businesses, schools, industry, and our colleagues, most importantly, in order to contribute to a healthy and productive society and economy. Working together, we can address all of our differences, we can tackle our challenges, and I know we can meet our goals for a better Green River today, tomorrow, and in the future. At this point, I'm going to conclude my presentation, and I'd like to open up the floor for questions. But thank you again for your attention today. Questions?
So we'll call people up 3 at a time if you would like to ask a question. So we're just grabbing them right now. 30 more for you.
Looks like we have questions. Anybody want to come to the mic?
We have people who have started.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. My question has to do with the Achieving the Dream initiative. Mine has to do with the Achieving the Dream initiative, which I am in favor of, but my understanding of it is it's only successful if it's a collaborative process.
Yes.
I don't think there's any faculty member in this room that felt that they were part of this process from the beginning. And so I'm a bit worried about that, whether it's going to be successful. And I'm almost thinking we should postpone it for a year. And then just today we got something that you actually sent in, your administration sent in to the Achieving Dream Corporation, that one of the statements in here is that some believe that faculty insufficiently understand students, apply inflexible and draconian classroom policies, are unwilling to assess themselves in the classes, and overly value their personal status. Now, I can understand somebody thinking that or saying that, but for that to go into a formal report for the Achieving the Dream, I am disappointed and I'm angry, and I just want to know how you feel about that.
Well, I'm not sure what document that is.
It's the leadership one that did this.
Oh, it was the survey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Those comments came through a survey that was done by our institutional research department, going out and talking to faculty, I believe, who was it, faculty, staff, and? Yes, faculty, staff, and administration. So I'd have to go back and look at that to find out. I know that we did not want to, that survey was confidential, and the people were allowed to speak their minds and their opinions without adding their name.
Right.
And that was the importance, I think.
My understanding is that there were 20 administrators and 6 faculty who filled that out. So I don't think it's representative of the campus. And again, my concern is that that went into a formal document that's being submitted, and I don't think that's the way to collaborate on what could be a real wonderful project. I think we're off to a terrible start, and I know you're heading to Florida in a couple of weeks with this project, and I just don't think we're ready to do that.
Well, thank you for your comments. I know that we are taking 2 faculty members to that conference to make sure that faculty are being kept well informed by their own. So I will research that document and provide some feedback if I can You know, if it's fair to provide that feedback, because I know that I want to respect individuals' confidentiality.
So the law, I think I'm saying that right, I'm sorry, so, you want to come up and ask your question, or would you like me to ask it?
Yes. What is your future plans to have more diversified students on campus?
We have quite a bit of diversity. My goal, really, we look at international programs. We have 150 or 1,000, 1,500 international students now. When you look at the diversity of our domestic students, that's expanding all the time. When you look at the Kent School District and the Auburn School District, I know Kent is bringing forth 138 different languages. So again, those students are going to be coming to our doorstep. We need to be prepared. What I would like to see is most probably more diversity in our administration, faculty, and staff as we do future hiring. I think students need to see individuals in the classroom and in the service areas that resemble them. So again, diversity is very important to make all people feel comfortable.
Lori Vale, do you want to come ask your question?
I'll do it from right here. My question is why we have cards distributed that are then being framed into categories instead of just having an open discussion, unfettered by people categorizing our questions. I feel very solid in saying my beautiful colleagues here from across the campus have the decorum to stand up and ask good questions without being categorized and silenced in a way by a process that doesn't allow us to raise our hands and be recognized.
Well, we knew that there might be quite a few people here, and what we wanted to do is make sure that everybody's voice is heard. Anybody and everybody here has the opportunity to come up to the podium and voice a question right now. Our concern was we knew we were working on limited time, and we didn't want to cut anybody off. So again, that is why we're collecting cards, and those issues that are not brought forward today because of a limited time, those will be addressed by Friday, as Vicki explained.
So could we maybe skip that for now then and just
Sure.
raise our hands?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mark Thomason, you've got.
Wait, we just said we're going to raise hands.
Oh, you are. There was nobody raised their hand, so I thought I would prompt. Yeah. So, but please, since we are broadcasting this and we are trying to record this for future use and for future viewing, we got to use the mic.
Could you just repeat the question?
I can repeat the question.
There you go. Does anybody else want to stand up and say something? Otherwise, I will ask a question, yes, if nobody else is wanting to. No, okay. We are going through a lot of changes here, and I want to know, kind of philosophically, how you view the instructional council, the role of the instructional council, and if you're willing to maintain the IC with the current rights and privileges that it now holds.
Well, for the last week and a half, I've been dealing with a lot of rumors, and I have no intentions of doing away with IC. That was a rumor I heard. I also heard a rumor that I had plans of doing away with tenure. That was a rumor. You know, I've been trying to squelch the rumors that others, if they speak up or even question anything within the college, they're going to be losing their job. I've heard rumors that when we bring in lean processes, that is a way to reduce our census. So again, you know, rumors are rumors. I don't know if your question mark is based on the rumor that I was planning on doing something with instructional council, but rest assured that I don't. I respect the work that faculty do. I respect the work that the IC does, and that is one reason why I implemented and brought forward the suggestion of having the courageous conversation to talk to people. I mean, 98% of the time when there's a problem, it goes right back to communications. Whether it's perceptions on your part or perceptions on my part or perceptions from within the college, I think that the best way to deal with those perceptions is to have conversations. But rest assured, IC is not going away. I have no intentions of doing away with tenure, and that I do value the work that the IC Council does. Yes.
So what do you didn't answer the question, what do you see the role of the IC Council, the same as what it always has been, or?
Yes, Yes, I do think so. I think that they address, and I don't want to get into areas that really don't involve me directly. I trust that people are, have bright ideas and good suggestions, and they do work within those councils. And plus, I can't be every place at one time. But again, I think that focusing on instructional issues is absolutely key. Focusing on programs. When the accreditation recommendations came out, they were addressing program assessment. I think that's a role for IC. I think that, when you look at monitoring councils, I think that's the role for those individuals and faculty to have an input into. So again, in areas where instruction is foremost, faculty have that voice. And they have that responsibility to speak up. Mm-hmm. Yes?
Okay, so the question is, as faculty, both full-time and adjunct, we undergo several evaluation processes during our tenure and post-tenure. And nothing like that seems to be in place for administrators. Would you be in favor of instituting some sort of process that would be campus-wide and in the spirit of faculty evaluations, anonymous, so it's open, candid type of assessment of administrators as well?
Administrators do go through an evaluation. I do the evaluation of my administrative team. They do the evaluation of their directors, and then the directors and the administrator oftentimes does the evaluation of other employees. I would say in regards to faculty evaluation, that's included in your negotiated agreement, I believe. So again, it's...
So can I follow up on that? So would you be able to open that up for inclusion in a new contract? Something, it's not contractual as yet, but something that would lead to a more open process.
So you
or some way for all constituents to respond, not just your immediate subordinates.
Are you talking about evaluation, my evaluation?
No, everybody. I mean, across the board.
I think that, I think that the supervisor needs to do the evaluation. I'll be real honest. I don't think that you would want somebody evaluating you that did not have a good understanding of instruction.
But students evaluate us.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what you're saying, Ajay, if I understand you, is stakeholders who have to work with us evaluate us.
That's what I meant by constituents.
Yeah.
I'm open to conversation, but I do feel strongly that right now that I will continue to do the evaluation of my administrative team.
Can I just kind of like a follow-up on that? Are you saying that the evaluation of faculty, by students is part of the affiliation agreement?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Could you please discuss the ramifications of what seems to be a shift away from community and the community college to what seems to be a growing, burgeoning movement? Not to sound like a xenophobe, the international students are a tremendous part of this campus, always have always been welcomed, but there seems to have been a real shift toward more accommodation toward the international programs, larger enrollments of students in the classes. Now we're not only doing the college students are also doing high school completion, and that's putting a lot of pressure to bear on instruction and on quality of instruction. I'd just like to hear your take.
My opinion, okay. I've said since I've been here, I strongly support the international program, and for a lot of different reasons. Ross Jennings and I attended a CCID conference 2 summers ago, and I had the opportunity to listen to a panel of highly qualified executives from top-notch institutions and organizations, Briggs & Stratton, Harley-Davidson, Marriott Hotels, and several others. And what they're saying is that our students need that international exposure. They're saying when they look at a resume nowadays to hire an individual, they want to see that international exposure. Whether that's a student going abroad to study, going on vacation. I mean, they said if the student can't afford to go abroad, make sure that they have some type of international exposure, whether that's going on vacation. They want them to better understand the value of understanding different cultures. And for many of our students here, many of our students are low income and they don't have that opportunity. So again, bringing that cultural diversity into the college really does give all of our students that exposure and that experience. In regards to, that's one issue. So I see the value of all of our students valuing from, I mean, when we're promoting world peace, I think it's better to understand each other. When you look from a financial standpoint, since I've gotten here, and I know several years before I started, the college was facing major budget cuts. And I have to tell you that those cuts every year were backfilled with the savings from the international program. And I know that for a fact since 2010. And I asked myself, how many times or how many employees would not be sitting here if it wasn't for keeping the institution whole? And thank goodness we had. I mean, we had record-breaking enrollments, but it wasn't enough to save us. Last year we had no budget cuts. The year before, we were really facing a major budget cut, $1 million budget cut. And we were looking at it, when our budget is 85% personnel, 85% personnel, there's not much room to cut. We are mean, lean machines. Community colleges are. We have cut and cut and cut. And yet we've recognized excess enrollment, and we are doing more with less. But when we're facing $1 million budget cut, how can we cut employees? I mean, we were looking at employee reduction. And I had Ross come forward, and Ross, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but Ross came forward and he said, don't cut employees. Let me go out and see if we can recruit 100 students. And 100 students at Green River in the international program equates to $1 million. So that for that reason alone, I'm looking at how many jobs would be gone in this room if it hadn't been for international savings. We're looking at the trades building. Mark, you're sitting right here. That budget right now, if it comes to fruition, if the legislature puts their stamp of approval on it, we're going to be coming in at 85% whole. We're going to be looking at a 15% shortfall. What are we going to do? That's $4 million. We're looking to savings for that. We have already dedicated, we've made the commitment to put $4 million into that trades building. Savings from international programs. The students, since 2006, I believe, Deb, have been implementing a fee on themselves for their new student life building. And because of changes in design and increased building costs that we're recognizing right now, that project is coming in $7 million short. The college is stepping up. And how is the college stepping up to help? Through international savings. So again, I know there's issues involving international program. I'm open and willing to have those conversations, to talk to people about it. But when a student shows up in a classroom, a student is a student. We are an open access institution. And I will never decline any student coming to our front door, whether they're international or whether they're domestic. And to me, walking through this campus, you can't tell anyone. So again, I think we ought to be very thankful to recognize the savings of the international program and to thank them every day that they're trying to do the good things they're doing, not unlike everybody else is doing. You're all doing great things. We just happen to recognize the savings because of the increased tuition. When I look at international students also, and I'm on a soapbox here, but when we look at international programs and our domestic students coming in, the additional dollars, we were allowed to open up additional sections for our domestic students. We were allowed to move forward and add additional services for all of our domestic students. So again, I think you look at your students as an entire population. And again, be thankful for the dollars we have. I mean, Derek Brandes, he could tell you in a New York Minute the drastic cuts that CBC took. Derek, 55 employees, and how many programs?
6 programs.
6 programs.
500 FTEs of ESL.
500 FTE of ESL. That's not uncommon. And Green River rode out the storm. We have ridden out the storm because of those savings. And so again, I'm very honest about how I feel.
Yeah, no, and I realize and I hear all this, I understand the financial aspect. What I'm dealing with, and what we're dealing with, a lot of us as instructors, is the infrastructure that really needs to be in place. You have all these extra dollars that are being brought in, and we have maybe 3 or 4 domestic students in a class with 17 or 18 international students. That's an inverse kind of relationship from what we were used to.
Now we need to to have those conversations to find out how we can help you. I mean, I think that even in the President's Diversity Council, and I know that GDEC is looking at some of those items, how we deal with diversity at Green River Community College, and I praise their efforts. But again, if there's issues, let's talk about them.
Eileen, you mentioned that we've had quite a bit of change the last few years. And we have also in the respect that we've lost a lot of key administrators, a lot of faculty and staff. And I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about your views on why that might be.
Oh, absolutely, Mark, absolutely. Okay, Mark is wondering about administration, people leaving the institution, and for some reason, I am being blamed for every person leaving this institution in the last 3 years. And, you know, and that goes with the territory, but, you know, there's reasons why people leave an institution. Sometimes they leave an institution for a better paying job. When we look at our IT department, we have had openings for more than a year because we cannot compete with the salaries of the open market out there. People are leaving because of better wages elsewhere, other places. They're leaving because they're closer to home. If a dean leaves an institution and goes to work in the Seattle district and they live in West Seattle, great. And I think if an individual leaves because of a professional development opportunity, way to go. I mean, we are in the business of growing people, students and employees, and I will never stop an employee from growing. As a matter of fact, I encourage them, even at the expense of the institution. There's other reasons why individuals leave. And if there's a performance issue, that issue is between a supervisor and the employee. And we work very hard to save every employee. We provide professional development opportunities, we provide an improvement plan, and we work very hard to save every employee. We need every employee. At the same time, sometimes that doesn't work. And that is between, Mark, that is between the supervisor, HR, and that employee. I don't think anybody in this room would want anybody else to know why they left the institution, unless they're smiling and going out on retirement. I think that's great. We have a retirement social. But we are mandated by federal law. We are mandated by state law. We are mandated by even college policies. And we're mandated by professionalism and ethics. And I firmly believe, and I will not talk about anybody leaving this institution. That's nobody else's business. So.
I think we're running out of time.
Okay, I think that we're running out of time. Yeah, Hank?
I think it's wonderful, thank you. I just want to go back to Mark's statement about the IC, and I'm glad to be able to publicly ask you to respond to one rumor, and that one of the standard prerogatives of faculty has been to set prerequisites. And I know there's been some concern about faculty setting prerequisites, but I would want you to respond. Is that something that belongs to the divisions and the faculty or not?
Well, Hank, I know where you're getting that information from. Right now, we're in the process of trying to develop budgets. All of the area budgets have come forward. The administration has brought forward each of their individual budgets. Derek's done a great job of bringing forward close to, what, $1 million, Derek, of requests from instruction. But we're also trying to balance what we've done traditionally over here with keeping the lights on, making sure the water's turned on, doing all those things that we've done forever over here with operations. And yet now we have a new strategic plan, and we have made a commitment to matching that strategic plan and those priorities up with budget. And what you saw that came out and that was just a draft to start the conversations moving forward at Cabinet. I believe that's what you're referring to, where it came out.
I'm not passing the rumors, I'm just
No, I'm just saying that's where that information came out, and that was only for conversation purposes, to start the conversation moving forward.
Then you can say that prerequisites belongs to.
That's still open for conversation. That is open for conversation. So again, I just want you to know that faculty have always set the prereqs. They've recommended the prereqs, and the VP of instruction has always had the prerogative to approve or disapprove. So again, I think that CAPS, class CAPS, same thing. I believe that's, typically faculty have set the CAS class.
Waiting list at
Class
45
caps.
was one of the issues,
Yeah.
right?
Well, pardon me?
Waiting list at 45 was one of the possible.
Well, I don't remember what the list was. That was for conversation purposes, but Hank, you wrote me an email and said that you didn't want to attend that meeting. So again, that was for conversation purposes.
That's one way of saying I sent the email.
No, there was a conversation saying you didn't want to participate in the cabinet conversation.
One way of saying I
Okay,
sent the email.
okay.
Yes.
Okay,
You better wrap it up.
okay, I think that we're wrapping it up at this point. All the other questions we will address in an email to you.